Rahubat Moisar, welcome to another question and answer class by myself, student teacher, Kwabena Usie Ka'a Reye, student teacher of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Kwabena Z York Okran, 32 degrees, 720 degrees over heaven and earth. So this is an open Q&A question and answer class. Please feel free, don't feel intimidated, don't feel your questions are either too small or too big or silly. We do our best to answer it. If we don't have the answer, there are other student teachers online that may provide the answer or expand and get you the clarity, because the last thing we don't want for you to walk out of here or leave or come off Zoom and thinking, I didn't get that. Do you know what I mean? And then you find yourself straying back into, the mental state of just not wanting to know anymore because you didn't understand what was being taught in the class. So please, I urge you, as we teach, if you want clarity, please ask for clarity. Okay, so we can be on the same grounding. Okay, with that, I open up the class to our Q&A. Welcome to those who've never been here before or online. Okay, appreciate you attending. And I think the Zamal, we're going to open up with a brother, Zamal Hara.
My
If you use the
question
mic,
was,
please, yeah.
my question was was Wu-Sabat
Is,
was the
is,
beginning of everything
right, to her,
because it's very ancient
to her.
and a lot of people didn't know of
Well, it's actually
Wu-Sabat.
wu-nuwaupu.
Yeah,
That's our spiritual science.
yeah,
Wu-Sabat is our culture.
yeah. I'm talking about the culture.
Right, yeah.
It's all ancient.
Tua is from the heavens to this planet.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it was
Keep going.
before pre-dynastic Kemet, right?
This,
It's
yeah.
like the
So
beginning at the source, and then it trickle out, become
Tua,
expand.
yeah. It's the Neolithic. If you're talking about the Neolithic, you're talking about the Nubans and the Pataites.
Okay.
So that was the culture or the way of life. But what you have to realize is how they lived then and how we're living now in the modern times. That's why it's called the renewal of our way of life.
Okay.
So the spiritual science, Nwapu, that's every 24,000 years. Okay?
Okay.
But it's a renewal because we are in a particular state of mind at the moment, not the same as our ancestors were.
Yeah.
So it has to be renewed in a way where we are able to embrace it, digest it, do you get what I'm saying, and transform with it.
And also relink back to the
Exactly.
ancestors.
Yeah, that's the transformation.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's literally it's a step by
Yeah,
step
that makes
process.
sense.
Yeah, is to clear up all the misinformation that was given to us over the last 6,000 years, and then some, and then some. Yeah.
That was
Okay.
talking
Antakatira for. Yeah. So if anybody else wants more expansion on that, please ask. Otherwise,
This United Sabian,
worldwide.
what's the connection between that and the Wabian, the word Nawa?
okay. If you just use the mic, Elder, to ask your question.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of the Sabians, I've heard of Nubians, and I know you refer to yourself as Nuwapians. So, what is the connection between Nuwapian and Sabians?
Huawei. Okay. So the Saba or Sabians, it's not the place or what they've renamed the people who were in Arabia who lived in that region. It was a re-establishment of our culture, do you see what I'm saying? Going back to Queen Hatshepsut. Yeah, so she re-established and relinked us back to our original ancient way of life in that area. Now, the word Saba gets its root from the word star, or from the star, the Sirius star to be exact. You with me? So the Sirius star constellation is where our descendants, which we call our ancestors, they descended down to this planet. One, they incarnated into body. and two, they came by other means of transportation, either etherically, so as a soul force, do you see what I'm saying, and manifested, or they incarnated into bodies. So that's how our ancestors would work in the spiritual realm. Yeah. So the word Sabah ties into also it has other meanings in the sense that when you break down the conjugation of the words, you can change it. It also means teachers, or it can also mean stargate. So this stargate was a way of us moving into the different dimensions and the portals opening so the beings could come here. So that's where the actual origin of the word. So the symbol for that word is a star. Yeah, yeah. So if you go and look up the word Saba or Siba or Subtet, or there's so many different derivatives of that word. Okay. Well, Sirius is the Greek, but it's the Greeks took it and it eventually became not even Greek. It became Latinized and then became Anglicized. So what you're saying Sirius, you're actually saying the English word for the word Sabatat or Sobtet. Yeah, yeah. So, but essentially, that's our connection to our ancestors from the stars.
So why some of your literature got the word Egypt then?
Why do we have the word
Why do you have the
Egypt?
word Egypt?
Because, well,
Egypt or something?
well, we spell it with an I, Egipt.
Yeah,
That
but what's the connection between that word, which I understand is Greek
yeah,
in origin,
it's quite understandable. Yeah,
and Kemet
yeah.
or Kemet?
Reason why the master teacher has done that, especially with the I, because that links into us being the nine ether beings, because the letter I is the ninth letter. So it's tying into the fact that we are nine ether beings that have incarnated into this form. The reason why we use the word Egypt is because that's what many people are familiar with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If we start to use the word Nawapian, Napata, Maro,
What about Kemet?
we use Kemet too. We do use Kemet. You see what I'm saying? But it's the familiarization of that word so that people say, oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then once we kind of like walk them through the different schools, then they start to realize, oh, this is what it actually is and who we are. So,
So
yeah,
you're teaching people from where they are.
literally baby steps, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the master teacher, Panabab Yanun, in 1963, okay, was teaching this information till about 67 to a very small group, personal group at the time. At that time, we were wearing our traditional African garbs, playing drums, doing spirituality, chanting, all of that kind of stuff. But the incarnated being, when he was teaching this information as Amon Nubi Ra'akata at that time, he was teaching the science known as wu-nuwaupu. And that spiritual science is what he came initially to teach. However, the minds of our people were stuck in religion.
Yes.
Just what I'm saying.
Yes,
So the
yes.
questions was always on a religious connotation, religious, oh, who's Abraham? Who's this? Who's that? So he said, you know what? See these books that I've come to teach you? Let's just park them to the side. Let's just park them here. Okay, ask me about Abraham. Okay, Abraham was a Chaldean. You know what I'm saying? He was from this. His ancestors this. Da 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 da. Okay. So who was Jesus Christ? Okay, Jesus Christ was. So we had to go through all the different schools exactly, and we had to then go under the cloak of those schools. So we were known as the Ansar Allah community, the Nubian Islamic Hebrews, the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, the Coptic Church. We just literally went through different schools just to show you that this is not you. Yeah, so just what I'm saying, this is who you really are. Like how we had the conversation, you came across Sheikh Anta Diop and you realize they've been lying to me but we had to submerge in those schools to gain an overstanding or understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Okay, so please probe if you want me to expand or anything, or any questions. Or if you have any questions online. Are there any questions online at the moment? If not, I can read something to you people to stimulate, spark some questions. Please don't be shy. This is your opportunity. Yeah, go ahead.
Just about the man from Planet Risk. I think on page 86, there's
Okay. Do we need to go to the?
well, I'll ask the question. Maybe
Yeah,
not,
go.
but
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me try and find the book.
Okay. And there's a diagram of Ilion,
Ilion. Mm-hmm.
and the planet Risk is encompassed by three suns, two suns, and
Sorry. Could someone mute their mic? Deltak. Yeah. Go ahead, Zama.
and I was just curious because there's lots of other planets within the system. So
Tua, yeah.
are there other beings on those planets?
Tua.
Okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
no. Go ahead with your
No,
question. Finish your question.
please expand because I'm just
Yeah.
just curious,
Okay. I'm just gonna bring it first back to our solar system.
yeah, please,
Yeah. So
yes.
our solar system consists of Europa. Yeah, which is the so-called moon of Jupiter, or is it Saturn? One of the two. I can't always remember. Jupiter or Saturn. Okay. You have different what they call moons. Yeah, Celeste is one of them, and blah blah blah, and all these others. But those moons are actually planets. Jupiter is a ball of gas. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you're talking about Europa, hence the name Europe, it links in because the beings that were residing on Europa were your Anakites, those beings that fell to this planet. Okay, they took residence there. So Europa is actually the planet. And that's just one of the places that's inhabited by beings who are Remember, this is all about vibration and density. So the density and frequency of that planet Europa or Saturn is different to the density of this planet. So they were in a ethereal or gaseous form. Do you see what I'm saying? Still physical to them, but to us, they appeared gaseous, in a gaseous form. So when they incarnated, they came back into those tribes that we call the Caucasian race, the 12 tribes of Canaan, or 11 tribes of Canaan. You see what I'm saying? So that's just an example of beings that inhabit other worlds. Then you also have Venus. Venus, they live under the caverns in the earth. They don't live on the surface. You see? Also, you have Mars. Mars was inhabited at one time, yeah, by beings. Okay, I think it was the Hindus, if I'm correct, in the Holy Tablets, the Master explains that the Hindus resided on Venus first and then came to Earth. You see, so there's different beings that have come from other solar systems or star systems in search of whether they're in search. It's funny you had this conversation in the car. They were in search for minerals or another place to live because their star is either dying or whatever. So they will come and look for other places to reside. And that's where you hear the stories you read about the stories of the Anunnaki. They were leaving their realm in the man from Planet Risk, and they came here. So in Ilion, the tri-star solar system, there were beings that lived on other planets. You with me? Risk is because the reason why Risk was so special because of its pattern of maneuvering. It would go through all the three different suns, and at one particular point, all three suns would shine down on Risk, and it would rejuvenate those beings, those Ethereans on there. Do you see what I'm saying? And raise them to a certain frequency, and they would kind of like absorb that energy. So that was the difference between Risk. Risk had a very unusual pattern of maneuvering. Does that make sense? But yeah, there's other beings on, and in fact, I think there's one of the planets or moons is called Sibtu, and Sibtu sits between this 18th galaxy and the 19th galaxy, which is in Ilion. You with me? And if I'm correct, Sibtu is where you get Sirius, the Sirius star system. You see, so the Sirius star system, it moves because what you have to look at is as we sit with Earth rotating around the sun is rotating around the larger body, the solar, the galaxy, or sorry, the Yeah, the galaxy, and the galaxy is rotating around the universe, and sometimes universes sit in bubbles. Do you see what I'm saying? So one universe might merge into another. You with me? And sometimes they might expand into another. So this is what's taking place. It's not us literally every planet just circling around they actually can move and go like Pluto. Pluto's a wandering planet. It can move into another system and come back. You see, so all of these things are taking place. So yeah, there's beings on many different worlds, and what we know as our ancestors, Nuwapians, the beings like us on other planets, on other worlds, our relatives, because they didn't just see this Earth, they seeded other planets as well with us, with the same kind of thing, and then features, and we evolved according to wherever we were. Does that make sense? Okay.
Great answer. I've got some more questions.
Yeah. Feel free. Go ahead. Question? No question, Lamont? Oh, who's that then? Theo. Okay, so Theo and then Reality Rich on Clubhouse. I'll invite you to speak, Reality, but I'm going to take Theo's question. Greetings, Theo. How you doing? Rahubat to you. Mm. Good question. The ones that can change their vibration and frequency are the masters. So beings that have mastered this can do it at will, okay, by leave of the natural rules of nature and the universe. What happened with us is we didn't evolve to that grade. So we had to start again. And the reason why we had to start again is because as the planet, remember what else explains that the Sirius star system, Sirius C, they were going to disintegrate it because they were going the system at that time it was dying, so the beings had to be moved from there and they had to raise themselves to a higher level of mind. This is what's happening here on this planet right now. We have to be raised to a certain level to be able to transform. So the same thing was happening on Sirius. They were warned and raised and taught, but not all of them were able to be, how can I say, make the grade. They didn't pass the school that they were supposed to pass. So what the elders did was, this is how it works in the universe, the natural course of things. If you haven't raised yourself to a degree, you will have to start again as a baby. So Earth was chosen and many other places in the universe. This is not just, yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah, and then so we were put here as a form of life wave, energy wave, Ethereans, that we then slowly learned to navigate our environment, learn our bodies. Because one of the things about what the master teacher explaining is we have to learn how every part of our body works. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the transformation is in being able to know this, how this works, what this does, etc., etc. Lowering your tones and your vibrations, and then those things will help with the transformation. And as you learn your way through as a baby again, you will then acquire the necessary skills to be able to then raise yourself and become an Etherean, which is slowly happening because some of us have diligently now started that journey. You see, so the same thing that potentially might happen to Earth already happened on Sirius C. There are different levels of Ethereans, yeah. Exactly. Some of them, and then the ones that raise themselves enough to leave a skin suit, because you're like a baby Etherean, basically. That's why the solar plexus and those things are there inside of you, because your whole journey is to transform out of this skin suit. I hope it does make sense. Any other questions on that? If you want me to expand further. Okay, I'm gonna go to. Sorry, there's a question. Yeah, I see your hand, brother. A question from. Oh, he's disappeared. Richie. I think Richie wasn't here. Okay, go ahead, my brother.
On that same topic, right?
Hmm.
So when you reach a level of Ethereum, what next? Do we continue expanding, or are we just flatten out?
No,
Flatline?
you're constantly
Constantly
learning as
growing.
Ethereum. You're constantly growing. Yeah.
And growing to what now? What after
You
Ethereum?
become once that you become part one with all.
Okay,
When you become one with all, you become mind.
I see.
And when you're mind, you are able. Then you create universes.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We're mini. That's what we're mini Ethereums, because we create our own universes. You know, in the form of, for a female, she creates a child. For males, etc., we are thinking, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And what we bring into this realm, we're creating it in our minds first as thought. You see, so we're drawing down from that mind to the mental, and from the mental reservoir, we're pulling things down. Okay, but the female represents creation because she actually does it, you know what I mean, and actually produces it physically.
Okay. So my next question is, what if few people that like this world, this realm we're in, right? They they're still at the lower level, didn't get a chance, or didn't don't know about raising themselves, developing themselves. What will happen to them?
As anything happens, is starts to start again. It has to start again. The whole thing is that the ancestors, they work in cycles, and when that cycle expires, they have to restart again, especially if it's not going according to natural nature's rules. If it's looking to a point where there's going to be destruction, because you have to look at it like this. There's a chain effect when it comes to quantum physics. Yeah, quantum physics is dealing with all. So once you understand that there's a link, you and I, this brother, this sister, etc., sitting in this room, we're all linked. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you start to expand that now to a universal level, what happens to this planet? Okay, whether it's a thought, an energy, a vibration, etc., and that this planet emits energy, which can then transform itself into other realms. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Which can affect other star systems. You with me?
For good or bad?
Either.
Okay.
It's either. And what happened with here, because of the downgrading of certain species, etc., who have become so negative that they've created atomic bombs, they've created destructive forces. And one particular thing, what the partner Barry explained one time, is that when you drop an atomic bomb, it causes a chain reaction. So that reaction, had it not been for the elders stepping in, you see what I'm saying, and the four winds, yeah, which holds this planet together, had it not been for them holding this planet together, this planet would have been drawn into the sun, and then it would have caused a star holocaust. If it caused a star holocaust, Earth is a mirror to risk.
Oh, so it will affect risk as well.
There you go. And if risk is affected, other star systems are affected.
Chain reaction.
It's a chain reaction.
I see.
So it's you know, we human beings selfishly think, oh, it's just me, myself, and I. If I do this, no, it's on a bigger scale. Whatever you do affects other things. You see, yeah.
So, what is the purpose of the people who we call Europeans? What are they supposed to teach us? What are they supposed to teach us? What not to be, or
No, it's true. It is, because it's adverse. We are known as 9 ether beings. Okay, so let me explain now because obviously you're new to this. So 9 ether is the highest state, okay, of mental faculty,
Okay.
and is a high state of reasoning. 9 ether has the mental aspect of it and the physical aspect when it manifests itself. So the embodiment of 9 ether is from 7 ether hair, dark skin, woolly hair, Negroid features, etc., all the way down to very dark skin, you get what I'm saying, hue. So there's a gradient. You with me?
Yeah.
That's the manifestation of 9 ether. Okay? And the highest mind of that is it as Ethereans is that you think on a very high positive level. You think about creating unity, etc., love, cohesion, not destruction, etc. What took place is that every cycle that we go through, our mental state starts to decline, and the potency of our ether also starts to decline. So the birth of that was something we refer to as 6 ether beings. And 6 ether beings, their manifestation is straight hair but dark skin. Like your Dravidians or your Hindus today, when you look at the dark skinned Dravidians, yeah, if you do any research, you see that they're known as the Dalits. That's another name they use for them. Yeah. So, but what's taking place is that the negativity that was within them was born as an albino or a recessive trait or a recessive gene. That's where your birth of your Caucasian race come from, because they're actually a dead version of the Hindu, known as ghost.
What is their purpose of?
So that their purpose is that they were given a particular time to be dominion. Their purpose was for us to identify who a disagreeable force would look like. Do you see what I'm saying?
Or what not to be?
Yeah, what not to be. Because prior to then, there was negativity on the planet, but they looked like you and I. So it was very hard for you to discern or differentiate, do you see what I'm saying, who is who. But the birth of this particular being allowed us to then know what this particular nature was going to be like. And as you see from the last 6,000 years, the nature of this being has been very destructive. So that's essentially what the purpose is. And it's for us to, know that and not to be like that. But unfortunately, a lot of us are falling into that trap. We're now acting and behaving just like what we created. Okay?
When
Yeah.
you talk about 9 levels, did I? Oh, sorry, sorry, yeah, I keep forgetting.
That's all right.
You've made references to 9 levels.
To
So 9 of them are physical and 9 of them are spiritual or something, or pure energy level or whatever. I don't know words you use to describe non-physical things, but anyway.
Okay, so you have the energy levels, and the energy levels, they all have a physical representation.
Oh, it's a reflection of the other.
Exactly. As above, so below.
Yes.
Yeah, you understand that concept?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So where is 9? Is 9 at the top?
9 is the highest, yeah. Yeah. In the form of degrees. If you start looking at layers,
Yes.
yeah, but it's actually in the form of degrees and expansion.
Right.
You with me?
And can these 9 levels can they be looked at as concentric circles as well?
Definitely. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because it's literally expanding,
Yeah.
expanding. So as a 9 ether being, you are all. That's what we teach. You are literally all manifestation. You were actually responsible for the creation of the universes in
Right.
your supreme state.
Yeah.
You with me? And then, as I said, as time elapsed, you lost your ability, you lost your mental faculties. It started to wane, it started to decline, only because there were cycles. Everything has to have a physical, representation in cycles. So this is what took place with us.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that things go in cycles. Because you're not always in a high state. Sometimes
Exactly.
you're going down, sometimes you're going up.
Exactly.
So to me, it's like, I always imagine it as like a clock face.
Tua.
Yeah, so when I'm at 12 o'clock, I'm all good, you know.
Yeah,
but-
and it's funny you say that as a clock face because we have a symbol, a symbol called the SMAT circle. The
Okay.
SMAT circle shows you the different states. So right now we're coming out of the state of mental sleep, which is at the lowest stage. So imagine the clock circle, and the lower point
6
is
o'clock?
6. Well, no. Is it 6? Yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah, beg your pardon. Yeah, 6 o'clock. We're moving not clockwise but counterclockwise. So the universe actually moves counterclockwise.
Okay, so from 6 to
To
5?
to 5, 4, 3, 2, and then back up. But it doesn't go back up to 1. It's there's a science where it starts from 6, then it goes up to from 3, it goes up to 6, then it goes up to back to 9. And then from 9, it goes back to 6, and then it goes back to 3. There's a science behind it, but I'd have to pull out the book to
Okay,
explain
yeah.
it.
A little bit at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not too much. Yeah.
There's a few questions on when.
Yeah, I've somehow
Zoom first.
lost connection with my thing again. My I'll take the question on Zoom, but my Clubhouse is gone again. Yeah. Okay. Where's the question? Is it written down, typed up, or hands up?
Yeah.
Okay. I see Theo as well, so I'll take your question, Nubian Goddess. How far up is it? Could you say the question, Zamata? Is that okay?
Two of them. What is the real meaning of the name Queen?
Oh, well, wait. Basically, it means prostitute or harlot. That's the meaning of the name Queen. But you can look this. You can, if you're not familiar with a book called not a book, sorry, an online dictionary, or you can actually buy it in stores, in bookstores. It's called the Etymological Dictionary or Etymology Dictionary. Yeah, or online dictionary. It's called etymology. Yeah, etymology. And what etymology does is it gives you the science and the origin of word meanings, mostly from the Latin, the Greek, the Indo, what they refer to as the Indo-European languages. Okay, so you find it Scandinavian. This origin came from this origin came from that. But to answer your question, it's a derogatory way of saying harlot back in the late whatever period. That's how you would say prostitute. You would say the word queen. It was spelled C-W-E-N. And obviously, as time has gone on, the translation or the pronunciation of it and the spelling of it has changed. But when you look into the root of this, it actually means harlot or prostitute. Okay?
Can you repeat the name of that book?
Online etymology dictionary. I mean, do you know what? We're learning, so let me just pull it up, share the screen, and then you can see it for yourself. Because seeing is knowing. I'll just share my screen in a second once I pull it up. So, you're going around, all these rappers and that, yo, my Nubian queen, this or that, yeah, and it's speaking and rapping it. Sounds positive, and it is, because that's the thought behind it, but the actual meaning, yeah. we give you a lot of heavy stuff. Let me share screen. Right, so it's a Etymon online, something like that. So queen. Middle English queen, preeminent female noble consort of a king, also female sovereign woman ruler in her own right. From Old English quen, queen, female ruler of a state, woman, wife, Proto-Germanic quens. Give you all the meanings.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not quite sure if you're aware that sound had been lost on our.
Yeah, it's not just that, Zamata. I've literally been thrown out of Clubhouse. Yeah, Zamal, is it possible to start a class on Clubhouse from us? Because yeah, if you can try, because yeah, it literally went as I was speaking, it cut out.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, apologies for those on Clubhouse. Even if you can just send a link, ask them to join Zoom or something. Yeah, I'm married. It goes on and on and on. In fact, you know what? Which is actually funny because I think they've actually when you go and look into older etymology books, you actually find the true meaning, but they've actually changed it slightly on here. This is actually quite funny. Yeah, they're saying it means woman, etc., female, but that's not the true meaning. They've actually changed it. I know for a fact they've changed it. Yeah, they've changed it. Yeah. Yeah, to hide it, what it means. Blatantly, because when you go into I had older etymological books, and it will show it in there what the true meaning is. They've changed it. It's not showing it here, and before it was showing it.
Sorry, I just think it's funny. I'm just oversharing with you. But it's just funny how they trying to change that. Every kind of derogative that they get that black people usually use for themselves, because a lot of black men like to be like, oh yeah, black queen, as almost like a way to like big up sisters.
To her.
And in the reality of it is if we knew the meaning behind the word,
Exactly.
the same way that we use the word, the N word, right? If we knew the meaning behind the word, we wouldn't be calling ourselves that. But
Yep.
they want us to keep calling ourselves that or keep calling each other that, because it's like they want to reinforce the over sexualization of our females, and then the down bad, lazy mindsets of the males. And then
Sure.
as long as they can keep us down there, and then we won't build anything together.
Sure.
You know?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Still online. It's just that your mic's muted.
I can't. It's not letting me in. It's not. Yeah, I see you, Zamal. It's literally not letting me in. Look, start event. That's really strange. All right, yeah, Rahubat. Go ahead, Theo, and then I think.
This is Jose.
Okay, Rahubat, Jose. I've got Theo. Is there a question, Jose, or just about the zoo clubhouse? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
A term to use in order to address to our women or the women in the culture that we want to give reference to them. What would be the appropriate term to use?
Feminine. Feminine. Yes, feminine. If you want to use a term that addresses them correctly, is feminine. We also use the word gadatat, which means goddess.
Okay, goddess.
Yeah.
Goddess. Okay,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
All right, Anta Katira for Zamal. Theo, go ahead with your question.
Just before I ask my question, if you scroll down a bit more on the page you're on.
Oh, to it. What does it on the etymology one?
Yeah, if you
Oh,
scroll
okay.
down a bit more. Keep going.
Here you go.
That's it.
I had the feeling, yeah, 'cause I didn't think, yeah, okay. Is it here? Armenian, Perusian, queen, female ruler, Gothic state, wife,
Further down.
queenhood, queen. There you go.
Yeah, that's it. I think.
An old woman or crone and is in popular use. Hussy. There you go. Yeah, women considered without regard to qualities or position, perhaps by contrast to the senses in queen, hence often a slighting or abusive term for a woman. In Middle English, it could mean a harlot, an old woman, or crone. And it was in popular use 16th century to 17th century in the sense of a hussy. We all know who a hussy is, isn't it? Or what they refer to as a hussy. Somebody who sells their body.
They know that. They know that. Yeah. They do refer to their rulers as kings and queens.
That's right. Yeah, they do. But they putting it, trying to make it into the positive, but not giving the true meaning of what it actually stemmed from. That's what they do. Do you know what I mean? Always hide information, hoping that you won't look for it, and then you use it and it becomes natural to everybody. Oh, but like Samaltat said, do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, any further questions? Tawatak, Theo, appreciate that. Thank you. Of course, use the scroll button. That would help. We all make our mistakes. Yes, I appreciate, love that very much. Tawatak.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask as well. My question was
Yeah, Tua.
about how to actually contact my ancestors. Like, what actionable steps can I actually do? I know you said it's through focused meditation or great like extreme focus.
Okay.
But like, what can I actually do to contact them?
Okay. So, do you have an altar?
Altar.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm just trying to establish what you know so far. So, to contact ancestors, obviously you're doing those methods already, those practices. To open up a portal to where they are residing in that dimension, you create an altar. So the altar will consist of your relatives who have transitioned. Not all of them you're going to know, obviously, but you still created an altar because the altar is a doorway to them. And you place on them their pictures. You also place candle, your sage, frankincense, myrrh, different types of incenses. If you want some crystals or some stones, you can do that. It's entirely up to how you furnish your altar. But essentially, the altar is a doorway to that spiritual abode. And with that doorway being open, when you're speaking to any of them, it's either you can speak to them all, or if you have a specific ancestor, what we've explained is that you put the other pictures down and communicate with the one that's that picture that you want to speak to, have their picture up. If you don't have any pictures of them, then you just do a commune with them by requesting their what's the word? Their intervention in whatever dilemma or situation that you may be going through, etc. Or, just sit down, just like how the master explained it is, just sit down like you're speaking to your partner or your mother or your father. You knock on their door, sometimes you want some advice, sometimes you might want some, just somebody to just talk to even. But they're there and they're listening and they're waiting for us to make that connection with them. So that'll be the actual way of making that link. And what starts to happen is as you start to make an etheric link with them, just like how you have the brain cells when the neurons and the synapses and the dendrites, it starts to get thicker and stronger. The same thing happens with the etheric spiritual cord that you have. Your etheric spiritual cord will then get stronger and streams of energy will be connected to them. Yeah, that cord, what we call the etheric cord. So the etheric cord is the link to your oversoul, who are your ancestors. And those ancestors, the one that's strongest in your family is your great grandmother on your mother's side. So if you know her name and she's transitioned, because some people still have great grandmothers alive, but if she's transitioned, you can then call on her name and speak to her because she acts as like an intermediary for the higher beings. That's what was explained to us.
So if I don't have any pictures, the the only way? Would I still create an altar if I have no?
Yeah, definitely still create an altar, because the altar is a gateway, and you're still making that etheric link through that gateway. And remember also that your body is also a gateway, your chakras. So part of that is you're chanting in the FAC. When you're chanting in the note of F, you're aligning your body with your relatives. When you're chanting it in the note of C, you're aligning yourself with the cosmos or the universe. When you're chanting in the key of, or the note of A, and that's A major for males, that is. Okay, this is in a book called Wavelength A. You can find the book upstairs. I think is in our store, still being sold. In that book, it explains that the A note, what the A note is doing is you charging your body, as the cells will create an electric field. That electric field will draw from the environment the etheric energy that's within the environment, and it creates a charge in your being, which stores that energy. And that the storing of the energy can be then utilized by your solar plexus to regenerate cells and to heal your body, or for other things like having a higher energy, so that you can, when you're communicating to them, it's the, how can I say, the speed and it's not hindered, basically. Yeah, the communication is not hindered. So that's, you're actually charging yourself. So the note of A, that's what it does.
And you said the F notes for
But,
aligning yourself.
yeah, you're aligning yourself with your ancestors. Yeah. So go ahead.
What would that sound like? Is that like a?
Yeah. Yeah. You know. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up on here on my harmonium. There's a instrument called a harmonium.
Something like a piano. Or something.
Yeah, like an Indian. It's an actual air, made of air, compressed air, and you literally, when we can share it in fact we can share it or upload it, I think, to the Wu-Sabat. You know Wu-Sabat, OSM?
Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram. Yeah,
Yeah.
that should. I think we can. I think I've got it in there. I can post it in there. If not, I can ask brother Saken to post in there. But I thought I had it, so you can actually at least hear what it sounds like. Yeah, it works with air. Yeah. What's my Oh, looking at the wrong thing. That's why. Just bear with me a second. Cultural aid. Next one. Should have it in my. No, I don't have it in this one. I thought I had it here. Okay, but yeah, it's called a harmonium. If I ask brother Saken to post, or he's probably listening online, so he'll probably post in there with, if I request it, and then you can actually hear it. So we have the F in the harmonium, the C in the harmonium, and the A in the harmonium. And then what you do is you practice attuning yourself with those particular keys, and then as you gradually keep going, and the more you do it, the more you're harnessing this energy. It's called saham, yeah, in our tone, saham. Okay, and you're drawing it into your body, into your chakras, and you can actually direct the saham into any part of your physical body where there's an ailment, along with the green light. So the green light is a healing light, and you can actually draw that energy to certain parts of the body and the organs where there's ailments, and visualize the healing process. We also have rituals for healing as well, where you can light a candle, a blue light candle. So there's different things that you can do. Okay, but essentially, because you're talking about the altar, yeah, so communicating, having a strong link those strong links is by way of chanting, the meditating, speaking to your ancestors, letting them know that you're here. You as your child, as their child, sorry, have now recognized who they are. You recognize that they're there and that you thank them. And, you know, just like literally like you're talking to them. You know, it's don't make it spooky. It's real. It's real. And this is what was being taken away from us because we've been made to think that it's not real. It's external from us. Do you know what I mean? And our ancestors are very, very much real.
What form does that come in when you speak to them? Is it like, how do you know that you actually speak to them? It's not just you making up thoughts in your head. Is it like being on a phone call or like?
There you go. Literally, that's what you just said. It a phone call. That's what is explained. Have you got? I see you. You had a question as well.
It's not really a question. It's
Okay.
just popped up into
Oh,
my head,
okay.
but then I
Do it.
realised I'm not the one teaching, so let me
No, no,
leave
no,
it
no,
alone.
no. Go on.
Sorry.
It's
I was just saying because when you said, "Oh, how do you know it's not just something that popped up in your head?"
Mm.
How do you know that anything that pops up into your head is not something that's supposed to be there?
Yeah.
So never think of anything in life as a coincidence or something that's made up
right.
because we are creating all the time. So if you're creating something, it's because it's supposed to be created.
Mm.
So if you're creating a thought in your mind that you're supposed to be doing something or going somewhere, whether it comes from you or comes from the ancestors through you, it's a thought that's supposed to come to you for a reason, whether it's for you to learn something or to actually do it.
Yeah. Total Zamata. Total. Yeah. So yeah, it's
Appreciate it.
yeah. So yeah. You just literally have to learn to trust. Part of it is the trust factor. I mean, learn to trust. And I'm not gonna say you're gonna not trip up along the way because you're learning. So sometimes you may. This is like the Zamata was saying, and I always give this analogy, and the master teacher's given it sometimes as well, many times. So you're doing a shopping list, right? Everyone does this, and they say, "I need to get that," but then you said, "Nah, I might not need it." Okay, and you're in the shop, you're doing your shopping, but you ignore that thought. Then as you come back home, what's missing in your cupboard? That thing that you were supposed to pick up. You see what I'm saying? So it may seem insignificant. It may seem, just, airy fairy. But those are simple things to show you that there's a higher being that's speaking to you. And you need to listen to it. And the more you listen to it, the more it gets stronger, the more it gets louder. They call it the small voice. You see what I'm saying? In your head. But that small voice is your higher self, which is connected to your ancestors. So as Zamata was explaining, how do you know? You know by trusting those feelings. And once you start to trust those feelings and they never guide you wrong, every time you do something, it's like it always keeps manifesting. Okay, Rod, you know what? This is really real. You see what I'm saying? And then you start to say, you know what, ancestors? Thank you. And you always end with thank you, tawul tak, tawul at, like, whatever it was, thank you. Even if it's just you missing a car, missing you just by a little, even if you couldn't find something in your house and you one day, no, I put it there. And all of a sudden you're just walking up the stairs. It's happened to me enough times. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, thank you, ancestors. Yeah, just little things like that. Little things like that. This is the miracle. This is the black magic, but we don't really take it, serious. Okay. Yes, my brother.
What you
I hope
just
that answered your question, sir, Theo.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
what you just said a while ago, I experienced it, and I know it's a fact. Because I used to doubt it, but then I said, you know what? Let me take the first answer. I'm gonna go with it. And guess what? It always worked. Always worked.
Yeah.
From then, I don't doubt nothing.
Yeah.
My next question is right. Back to the grandparents in the spirit realms. How would you know that they're still there because they might return back to life? So how would you know that grandparents, when you're calling on grandma so and so and telling her all your problems, right? And then weeks gone, months gone, you don't hear nothing. Would that signify that they probably return because they normally give you answers and time lapse, nothing. That see what I'm saying? What
Yeah,
I'm
I
getting.
mean, not to speculate. So is your ancestor relatives have either reincarnated, you're talking
Yeah,
about, come back,
return back. Yeah,
return back,
yeah,
or they moved on to higher realms,
possible.
or that you are out of sync, do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And you
yeah.
need to work on that again.
Yeah.
Because we do have our drops and, you know, ups and downs in life. So yeah, it's various different realities or reasons why
Yeah.
you may have that disconnection.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But which one of the grandparents would be the perfect one to contact? Would it be your mother's side or your dad's side?
The
Say
master
both of them is
he never said
passed on.
perfect, but he said the strongest is on your mother's side, your great grandmother.
Yeah, but you have two grandmothers.
Yeah.
One on your dad's side and
Yeah,
your mom's side.
your mother's side.
So which one would be the one
That's what I
first?
just said.
Would it be the mom's side?
Your mother's side, yeah.
Okay.
Why the mother's side? The mitochondria.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember, she's a complete being.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So being that she's a complete being that has all the telomeres intact, the essence and the communication is done by way of the matriarch.
Yeah.
Because we are a matriarchal race.
Yeah. Because why I brought that up is because I always dream my grandma on my mom's side, right? And the last time I saw her, she was so happy. So happy. And she said, yes. And she was happy.
So when you saw her as in
In the spirit realm.
okay.
Right? Then after that, I don't dream her no more. That's why I'm wondering if she returned back to life through one of the grand, because
Yeah,
my mom's
it's
side of
quite
family
possible.
is massive.
Yeah, it's quite
So
possible.
it could be any one of the grandparents, children
Sure.
she came into.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
No, it's quite possible. So I can't say to you that's definite. Only one being will be able to tell you that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there a way, because whenever I get in contact with my ancestors, I can only really get into contact with my ancestors from my father's side.
Well, yeah.
And I believe that the reason is because on my mother's side, my grandmother doesn't know any of their family 'cause she's orphaned. Everybody passed away before she was grown enough. So I can't actually contact them. Is there a way? Because I have no information about them. Is there a way to contact them without any sort of information,
Yes.
or is that dangerous?
I don't know about dangerous, but the mediation is a request. You just have to request it. Request it through your father's side. Do you see what I'm saying? If they knew them. Just sit in a meditative mood thing and just speak to them and say, I didn't know you, do you get what I'm saying? But if you are able to communicate to that ancestor, what also you have to bear in mind as well, in fact, which is coming to me, not all of them are in the state that we want them to be in, because spirit-wise, they can dissipate if they haven't raised themselves. Do you see what I'm saying? Because remember, they get trapped when they transition. If they don't know anything and they lived a particular way of life, they can get trapped. And if they get trapped, they can be used to the point where they're so far gone, they can disintegrate back into all. Do you see what I'm saying? Back into all. We call it all, Papa-ot, the expansion. So the universe is constantly expanding, and the multiverse is constantly expanding, because elemental forces is what creates what we know as hydrogen, helium, etc. These gases, but these elemental forces, once your body breaks down back into its components or its constituents, the elemental part of you goes back to all. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that is something that we have to also bear in mind. Do you know what I mean? Really and truly, the master hasn't really gone into depth, and I'm not going to start guessing and waffling on. But what's coming to mind now is you strengthening your being because you have an E3. If you know their name, did you know their name? Or you don't know nothing whatsoever? You have a name. Just maybe focus on the name. You get what I'm saying? But be mindful too that their beings also have that name. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's very hard to walk in the spiritual realm when you know that part of you, unless you actually have some kind of tangible, maybe her, I don't know, did she have some jewelry? Did she have some, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Yeah. So you can only work with who you know. Do you get what I'm saying? Until one of them, through you, becomes strong enough that they may then able to grow up there exactly, pull them out from that. Or the energy starts to, because remember, it's spirit energy. So the spirit energy is in the formless state and it comes into form because we create it. So in essence, you are able to generate that spirit form, but it has to be in a particular way. You have to have been raised to a certain level. Do you get what I'm saying? To be able to deal with those kind of dimensions. And the master teacher, as far as I'm aware, hasn't gone into detail. So I'm not going to stand here and say, you can do that, do that, do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't do those kind of things. Yeah. All right.
Well, there's a few questions in the chat on Zoom,
Oh, okay. Well, we're
and then Kobe has his.
to her. Okay. So let me look at the chat. And I'll come to you, Elder, after the chats, yeah, the chat questions. And then Kobe. Okay. So
I think iPhone's next. iPhone says
iPhone,
very
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I think if it's possible, Zamata, could you moderate? Yeah. Okay.
And iPhone is very bad. Who are the children of Seth, and why are the Anunnaki more hated?
Okay. Depends when you're saying set. If you're referring to the Greek rendition of the name, or you're referring to the Egyptian Satuk. And Satuk, if I can remember, I can't remember who his children were. But he did have children. I don't know who the descendants are, but okay, my battery's low. What's it? Oh, let me quickly plug it in before we lose connection. That was close. So when you're doing the Setians would have been another name for your Luciferians or Greeks who are known as the Setians because their ruler, who was known as Apep, they worshipped Set. So they became known as the Setians. So through their children, they would have had those disagreeable children because the Greeks were known at one time as Setians. But if you're talking about the children of Atumre, which is your Asa, Aset, etc., Satuk, Nababtat, and those and Nephthys, those children, Satuk did have children, but I can't remember who their names are, who he took as a partner and had children with. But yeah, their children will still be on the planet. Descendants, we are their descendants ultimately, so we will be their children in that respect. So I hope that answers that question. But like I said, you have to. It's a differentiation between the Setians, if you're referring to that, or if you're referring to Satuk, whose name was Set, but who the Greeks called Set. Yeah, I hope that answers that. Yeah, next question.
Yeah, is at Nickel J online 4783, and it says, what is heaven? Because heaven can be created down here. Whatever is above is here down as well.
Yeah, that's 100%. Heaven is a state or condition that you find yourself in. So, for whatever state or condition you are in, and it's pleasurable, enjoyable, stress-free, useful, abundant, etc., Yeah, happiness with your family. That's heaven. Imagine it was heaven where you came home to your family and your wife cooked a good meal, you know what I mean, and you enjoyed and your children are hugging you and you're playing games. That's heaven to someone. Then imagine you lost all of that. Your children got burned, you know, in a fire. There's a fire. You lost your wife. That's hell. So it all depends on the state and condition you find yourself in. Now, when you're talking about heaven, it comes from the root of the word haven. And haven is a docking point, which was a place in the Orion system when certain beings were coming from Arcturus and Pleiades. They were given a particular place to reside, and that was the haven, a resting place or docking point for them. And then it got translated into the Bible as heaven. And when you look into the meaning of the word heaven, as per the Greek or the Latin, you find the word oranos. Okay? And the word oranos, when you take it back to the true original meaning, is Orion. And Orion is the star system known as Sa'at. Okay, that's where beings were taking place, residence in the Orion star system and also in the Sirius star system. That's where a lot of beings and a lot of mixing and extraterrestrials were battling, etc., in that system. So it's a very, very busy and important place that many extraterrestrials left and came to this planet. So that is in essence your heaven concept. It's talking about a place, a docking place, or the state and condition that you can find yourself in, or state of mind that you can be in. I hope that answers that question. Greetings, Rahubad Samata. Yeah, Kobe, ask your question and then we'll go to another talk and then we'll have the elder in the store. So Kobe, if you ask your question.
Roundabout.
Rahubad, Kobe.
So at the moment, I'm reading the procession change 2012 AD.
Tua.
Master teachers illustrated a diagram of the 12 ages of the zodiac. Looking at this, obviously, he's explaining going from the Pisces to the Aquarius age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the dates. So for Aquarius,
Mm-hmm.
it's December 21st. For Scorpio, it says March 21st. Now, with Aquarius, obviously with the zodiac that the Greeks have given us that we use at the moment, is in February. So I just wanted to understand a little bit. Oh, and also on the next page, you've got the Dindera
Mm-hmm.
and showing everything there. So I just wanted to understand how we should be looking at the zodiac, because obviously with what the Greeks have given us, it's kind of confused a lot of the information. So I've got this question here, and then I've got a follow-up question. But yeah, how do we read the Dendera and those very complex 12 acres of the zodiac sort of relate to what's going on at the same time?
Is that your bassy voice there, Kobe? Sharing this. So you have your precession change or your precession cycle. That's is actually anti-clockwise. Okay, and okay, my brother. Are you? Oh, you got all right. Okay. And every 2,000 years is a change in cycle. So let me see if I can. Oh, Huawei. Oh, okay. So it was like some coming thing coming from you, right? Um, so let me just find. Is it the procession change, right? What can I find it? So,
Page 12 and 13.
Tua, just bear with me. Just trying to pull it up. Greetings, Robert, Zamal. Here you go. Right, I'm just going to share my screen for those in the class. We'll go to your question. Yeah. Right, so this is the book Brother Kobe is referring to. Can you see it? Okay, cool.
Tua.
Okay, right, so let's just go down, scroll down. Page 12, yeah? Okay. Right, so what verse on page 12?
To be honest, throughout that page and the next page, he sort of described,
Okay.
well, not even described, but he's talking about the ages there.
Right. Let's read it from 38 then. Verse 30. Are you, because sometimes the books do a re-release. So I've got one here, starts verse 38. They all watch the heavens. Is that correct?
Tua.
Okay. They all watch the heavens for their gods. Can you see the screen? Can everyone see the screen? They all watch the heavens for their gods to return in each culture, place vast importance on each of the 12 divisions, and refer to the divisions as ages, periods of time. So this is what gave birth to your zodiac. Okay, 12 ages of the zodiac. So verse 39, giving each age a different characteristic as is seen in the Dendera star map. Okay, so essentially they've copied the Dendera star map and produced their own, which is known as the zodiac. Okay, so you're all right with that so far, yeah?
Tua Zaman.
Okay. And each symbol was a form of effect on all and each human. Okay. Walk with me so that if you want me to stop or where the explanation is required, yeah? And during that specific age, as each age represented a different constellation and would therefore be an integral part of astrology and solar biology. That is, astrology stars and biology human body, a link between each human and the stars and the moment of their conception. So your question is, how many years is that cycle? Kobe?
Yes, it is, but I was more thinking the Greeks obviously go from month to month.
What where?
Can you
Okay.
scroll-
Oh, okay. I'm with you. Right.
can you
So,
scroll a little bit back to page 12?
okay. Right. I think I'm following you. So you've got the Gregorian calendar that bases it on the 12-month calendar. Okay. But this is the celestial calendar. And the celestial calendar is based on 2,000 year cycles. Are you following? Yeah. So even though they've got the same names as your your Gregorian calendar of the 12 months of the zodiac, is actually the 12 months of the zodiac is based off a 2,000 year cycle. So each era represents 2,000 years. So for instance, when we were in the era of Pisces, the symbol for Pisces was the fish, which was representative of Jesus multiplying the fishes. You see, when he gave, one fish and then it became multiple fishes, because he was the master or of the school of Pisces. Are you following? And the Piscean era gave rise to the Aquarian era. And the Aquarian era was the next 2,000 year cycle. So we are now in the Aquarian age, what they refer to as the Aquarius age. And the Aquarian age cycle would then give way to the Capricorn. So what is happening is going counterclockwise. It's not going clockwise like your time cycle or the clock on the face of a clock where you got the hands moving what they call clockwise. The actual celestial abode is moving in an anti-clockwise formation. And it happens every era is split into 2,000 year cycles. So for us, in the cycle that we're in, our age is known as the age of Ptah. That's why we give in reverence to Ptah when we say our affirmation. Is it?
Sure, Zamal.
Is there any more for me to elaborate? Would you like to elaborate further on something else, or is that clear?
There was one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just get to the page.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just one sentence. But
Sure. But does everyone understand what we're talking about here? I'm not losing anybody, yeah? Okay.
you know what, Zamal? It's getting a bit hectic over here. Let me deal
No,
with what.
no worries. I'll read for those as well, just to get a bit more clarity. But you can see it actually breaks it down in verse 45. So I'll read from verse 42. You have all heard that you're moving into the new age the Greeks called Aquarius, the Egyptians called the age of Ptah, and sometimes referred to the age of Phoenix or Sirius. This is very true. Verse 44. On December 21st, 2012 AD, at 3 a.m., the darkest hour on up to the edge of this constellation, you have had 3 eclipses. And for the first time in 12,920, around 13,000 Earth years, it will also be moving toward Pa Kupt, the center of the galaxy, instead of away from it. So eventually we're literally moving back into the center of our galaxy. For the next 2,160 Earth years, rounded off to 2,000 years, as I was explaining, the axis of Ptah Nun, so that's the planet's axis, which I'll bring up just for you to have a visual representation. What is it called? Sorry, precession. There you go. So, reading this along with, let me share this part here. Sorry, bear with me. Right, can you see that? Okay, so this here is your precession. So this is what's taking place, where your axis is literally, the precession is moving, as you can see here, that's called a precession, where the actual planet is moving in a 2,160 year orbit, known as a precession. Okay? And
Precession means what exactly? Procession?
precession, I haven't actually looked up the term, what the actual meaning is. It's just talking about the revolution and yeah, of the actual planets. They go through a precessional change. Yeah. Go back to, okay. Close that now. Okay. I see your hand. I don't know who's Theo. I see your hand up. Right. So you heard that you're moving into the age of Ptah and the procession of the axis, of Ptah Nun. So for the next 2,160 years, the axis, so that's the axis of Ptah Nun Earth, will be moving through the constellation of Aquarius. Okay. But there's so much more you already given in Pa Meyatat from myself, partner star Amun Nub Reach Pata about this reality. All this will actually affect your life as you live and breathe, for it's part of the change and return, which is destiny. So this is again a celestial event which ties into why the being is here and why the being is getting us to transform ourselves, because it's a natural destiny we have, and the reality is that we have to transform because we're moving through density levels. And as the planet Earth moves through density levels, we have to transform with the planet. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is taking place, and this is why the chanting, the language, the all of that is transforming your being, so that as you pass through the different dimensional density levels, you won't lose yourself or be trapped in this realm. Do you see what I'm saying? Because there's two realms happening. If you notice, there's people that are progressing and there's people that are regressing. We see them when we're out there, we see people regressing. And this is part of the transformation. And if you don't keep on a certain frequency, you will regress. And you see that in various aspects, especially amongst our brothers and sisters. Either it's mental or is something that what they're doing with their bodies. Do you get what I'm saying? The over tattooing, the lip piercing, the walking with the pants down here and trying to run and there's no belt, okay, which was actually a prison thing that was happening in prison, and then it became a fashion. But eventually you don't even know what that actually meant. Some people don't even know what that means. Do you get what I'm saying? They're just doing it because it's fashion. But that is in itself, this is what the body does. The body morphs, it transforms. So as you are having your trousers down here, your waist is trying to catch up. So over the period of time, you may not see it in your generation, but genes determine how your generation is going to turn out. So if you're no longer wearing your trousers up and keeping your waist at a particular height, you are regressing to a monkey or an ape. You're becoming a beast. You understand? This is what's taking place. So the transformation of who we are is that we're supposed to become divine supreme beings, and so that's all part of the cycle and the transformation and our destiny as supreme beings for those who want to change, who want that change. Because there's those who don't want that change. So I'm saying there's nothing we can really do about that. All we can do is share the knowledge. In these last days and times, most people, being they have accepted a religion born out of the Celtic religion of Wicca, don't really know the truth. Today, the Wicca religion and bloodlust gods or God is called Mosism, Christism, Mohammedanism. They lost the truth and don't know about the true astrology and solar biology replaced with symbols. Yeah, so that's what they've done. It's just put symbols on everything now. Everyone knows that symbol. They each say their leader was born under the night sky, which primarily identified them with their birth as a day, month, year, time they were born. But each was in fact born and had a birthday, they claim. No fact that their Moses, Moshe, Musa ever existed, nor their Jesus, Yeshua, Isa. Yet they have birth symbols as the bright and morning star for Jesus. That's a birth sign. They give him December 25th, making him a Capricorn, being born between December 22nd and January the 19th. So being they have not nor ever proven that a man named Yeshua or Yahshua, Jesus, Isa ever existed, not one fact of his physical existence, only man-made stories they say for Moses, Moshe, Musa, only stories. So in fact, Jesus will be the symbol of the morning star of December 25th, which led back to ancient astrology, a star child, a birthday, Revelation 22:16 in their own Bible. So that's just some affirmation there.
All that was fabrication.
Most of it was fabrication, especially the December 25th aspect and all of that, because that goes into Capricornus, which goes into the goat, and the goat goes into the goat of Mendes, and the goat of Mendes, yeah, so it all links in, okay, to the number 6. Yeah, yeah, they've done a good one, and they've done a good doozy on us. Yeah, they have. Right, Theo, you have, I think you're next for a question.
There's lots of questions in the chat
Oh, really? Okay.
that haven't been addressed.
Okay, Theo, can we just hang in there for a little bit, and then we'll go to the chat and address the. Could the questions be read out, please, if it's possible? Tell it that.
You can, I think,
Go ahead.
okay, I think iPhone says, do you need to have a double resonance to be accepted into Wu-Sabat without opposing forces?
No. The double resonant frequency is from particular children that are born, known as gatekeepers, and they operate between the spiritual and the physical realm. So that's the reason why they have a double resonant frequency. So, for instance, when you hear the name Nefertiti, her name was Nefer Twi Twi, which actually denotes that she had a double resonant frequency, and also that her beauty was double. That's how beautiful she was. So these Muknash Tatu and Mukshnatu and Mukhnastatu, they're known as gatekeepers. And what they were able to do is they were able to raise their frequency to open up gateways, stargates. You can find that in a movie called Fifth Element, yeah, where they needed a particular female, and then she was able to open a gateway. Okay, so that's in the movie. All right, so which ties in back into the female again, being a sense of the fifth element. She's the fifth. She's the goddess. So what was the other question?
There's one that was after the set question,
Okay.
which is from West Gang Production.
Okay.
Go ahead, Malachi.
Yeah, Zamata, if you could ask that question, would be appreciated if you read it out for us.
Two of them are, bear with me.
Tua. Yeah, finding hard to scroll up there.
I'm because it didn't make sense. Anyway, it's West Gam Productions. Who are you? Who are your, and what do you have to do with me being a black man raised in the USA? Kind of why I missed it.
Oh, okay. Who are you? Okay, well we are, yeah, we are Sabians, and we could go into like the breakdown of that, but it would take up quite a while. But essentially, our teachings is by the being known as Parnabab Yanun in the body of Dr. Malachi Kobinazed York Okran. Okay, so when you are operating as that, you are that being. So Dr. Malachi Z. York is the incarnated being known as Tahuti. And Tahuti's, his role is to raise those sleeping deities that have forgotten who they are. And he has to do it in cycles. So every 24,000 years, this being incarnates in a cycle where we are raised to our pristine state as being supreme beings, because that's what we actually are. We're not human beings, we're actually supreme beings, but we've fallen so far, most of us acting beast-like even, and we have to be raised to the level of who we truly are. But this is done in degrees. And as you raising degrees and raising degrees of consciousness, you're also developing your higher faculties, which is your mental intuition, your telepathic abilities, clairvoyance abilities. What's that one? Psychometry ability. You lot been studying. It's good. Yeah, and yes, no, it's good to help audience participation. It's very appreciate that. Yeah, so these are higher faculties that you have, okay, and that taps into your mental abilities as a supreme being. You also have other abilities as well. You can actually transform and translate and transmute. You can convert yourself, change into, you can grow certain aspects of your body. You can heal your body. You can communicate to your ancestors in other realms. So there's many abilities that we have as supreme beings, but it's all being cut off. So his job is a tough one, but it's achievable, is to raise us to the level where we can again become the rulers of our own destiny. Okay, so that's what this is what it's Wu-Sabat is about. And you can find us in various pockets of the planet. So we are in New York, we are in UK, different parts, Birmingham here. We're also in parts of Africa now, West Africa, Ghana, Caribbean. We're in the Caribbean. What else? I think we've had yeah, Liberia. We're spreading and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. South Africa, people are tuning in from all different parts of the world now to hear this information because part of it is we're sick and tired. That's really the bottom line is we're tired. We're sick and tired of the lies. Those who are becoming conscious can see that you've been lying to us, but the part of the consciousness and awakening is because it's encoded in your DNA. You have a genetic encoding with your ancestors and is designed to trigger when you come across Wu-Sabat or at a particular age in your life or circumstance in your life, something will trigger your mental faculty and your conscious, higher conscious being to wake up and say, something ain't right. I either need to change who I am, I need to change my habits, I need to change the friends I'm with, I need to stop going to this place, I need to stop doing this to myself. Consciousness starts to come. Whatever shape it or form it takes, it starts to come. And there are going to be times where you will subdue it because you think, you might get back into the old habits. But as time goes on, we mentioned earlier about that inner voice. The inner voice keeps speaking to you and it keeps saying, no, you need to change this. And then you start finding out there's, remedies. Oh, you can take this to heal your body. So you start exercising more. You start doing certain things that you don't normally necessarily do. You start hanging out with those friends. You see what I'm saying? You start smoking those smoking those bad things or drinking those bad habitual. All of these things is the growth process that's happening. And it's all designed because you have a genetic DNA code. And that genetic DNA code will, how can I say, unwrap itself. And then when it starts to unravel, it sends messages by way of your conscious being to your mind. And your mind starts to then relay this information to your consciousness. And you start saying, yeah, this sounds right to me. In fact, we actually met a brother. We met a brother today, and he was handed one of the flyers. So he's disappeared. We're doing our thing, busy talking. He comes back. He says, "Where can I find this information? I've been searching for this for years. I'm now blah 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 age. This, and I don't deal with all this belief and hocus pocus. I want this. This is what I want." So that's the journey that some people may be on, and when they come across Wu-Sabat, they be like, yep, this makes sense. This is what I've been always, my soul's been seeking for. This is nourishing me. So, and that's why many of us are here now listening as opposed to watching Arsenal play West Ham. Do you know what I mean? Not saying they're playing tonight, but you get my drift. Yeah, we take time out to want to graze ourselves and learn. Okay, so Theo, Kobe, and then Theo, and then we'll go back to another question on chat.
Sorry,
Oh,
missed another one.
oh, okay, go on then.
Not sure.
It's okay.
This one I think well is it's in Wu-Sabat teachings. Is there any spiritual reason why African people went through extreme suffering like slavery, or is it simply seen as human ignorance affecting the soul?
That's a powerful question. It's, you know what, it's elements of both going on. So the spiritual aspect is that nine ether. What happens with nine ether is it goes through cycles. What nine ether is your highest mental processing and reasoning. That's what nine ether is. Okay, okay, and nine ether is linked to soul. Yeah, and your soul is what allows you to have the consciousness to be able to be loving self and kind, love who you are, liberate your mental state, your four positive things, and the change of your of who we are as a people. You're into supporting your own. You start to realize that the world that we live in is a world of fake. Okay, so that's what nine ether presents. Now, what happens is nine ether, when it goes through cycles, it changes and becomes a lesser form, or the formula changes. That formula, when it changes, it becomes known as six ether, and then it goes down and it breaks down again further down to three ether. So through the cycles, the energy, okay, of who we are, it changes, and our minds become weaker and weaker and weaker. Okay, to the point where we actually lose the consciousness of who we are. We become what is called amnesia. Yeah, we become forgetful and we forget our supreme state. But it has to take somebody to get you to remember who we are. So what's been done is that we've been given our true identity again, our true knowledge of who or what we did, how we did things, and the only place that you're going to find that it's not in Abraham, it's not in Christianity, it's not in Islam, it's not in Judaism. You have to go to the ancient writings of the ancient Egyptians where your faces are, where your stories of who you are is. Because when you go to Egypt, you see the images, they look like you. When you go and you're reading about in the Bible, Moses or the Quran and all of that, you don't see no images because they've banned the images. So you're relying on somebody else's interpretation of what took place. And that's what you're giving, what is known, you're giving away your soul to that because you're putting all your energy into it. Okay? So that's the spiritual aspect. The physical aspect is that certain forces became in control during those cycles. And those certain forces, their physical representation of those forces is known as the Caucasian race or the Arabs. These are actually two people. They're really known as the Adamites. Okay, the Adamite race are beings that from time immemorial, when they were created, when you read your Genesis story is referring to the Adamites, but check what it says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. So it reads that the evil of the Adamites was evil continually. Yeah, because God grieved in his heart, and the evil of the Adamites was evil continually. So his nature is wicked. That's his nature. You have positive nature and you have negative nature. You have evil nature and you have good nature. These are two opposites of each other. And we are the opposite of the Caucasian race. Okay? We are nine ether, they're six ether going down to three ether. So because of that, their nature made them the way they are. And they have then subjected other races to horrific, as you know, you study history, you see the horrific things that has happened over the many years that they've been on this planet. Okay, enslaving, do you know what I mean? Creating weapons, of destruction. But this was done because they were made for a reason. And part of the reasons they were made as a food source, They were also made as workers. This is when the brother asked the question earlier, what was their purpose? Their purpose was that they were made as a food source. Okay, that part actually escaped my mind. So this is the reason for their nature and how they behave. They were grafted with different animalistic natures. So that's in them. The ruling part of them is from their creators, who are the Anunnaki. And if I'm confusing anybody, please stop me. Yeah, because these terminologies may not be it may be new for some people to hear. But there was a race of beings that created these Adamites, who later on became known as your Caucasian race. Okay? Because they had mixed in so much that they literally lost their soul. That's all right. It's okay, because we have to. The question was the spiritual? Oh, okay. Zamata, if you could just read okay. In Wu-Sabat teachings, is there any spiritual reason? Yeah, I'm reading the question. Yeah. So this was from gosh, I've just gonna lost it.
It just says act. It's just got the symbol.
Yeah, it's got at. Yeah, it actually doesn't have a but if they could post who they are. So I've just gonna lost it.
Robert, it's the questions that are being asked on the YouTube live.
Ah, okay, which has been posted in here, right? Okay, cool. So
And what
in
was the quote?
Genesis chapter 6, verse 3 to 6, I believe, but we don't like to believe, so let me just quickly check.
No, I was going to find it.
Oh, wow, well, yeah, I think it's between, yes, if you read between Genesis 6. I'm going to read it, my brother, don't worry. So in Wu-Sabat, yeah, yeah, I'm going to read it now. In Wu-Sabat teachings, the question's been asked, is there any spiritual reason why African people went through extreme suffering like slavery? Yeah? So that was the question.
Very brief. From my studies,
Yeah.
reasons as to why we were actually seeded deliberately. I believe,
Okay.
in my studies,
Okay.
that we were actually seeded deliberately in the Western Hemisphere to go through what we've gone through in order to change from the inside out
Okay.
the world that we currently live in. Because if you look at what we're doing currently, that's what we're actually doing.
Yeah. So this is why I was explaining that we are fallen. So the spiritual aspect is that we were in our true state of mind.
Okay. So I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Apologies. I'm
No,
assuming
yeah.
that most people are aware of this.
No. Not everyone's
I'm just answering the question.
Yeah.
And then moving on.
Right. Yeah. No. Unfortunately, even though people know that we went through slavery, there's layers to it. You understand? Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to piece it so that it makes sense. So what I'm saying is that in our state, in our original state.
This is live.
Yeah, this is live. So yeah, everyone watching. Yeah. In our original state as supreme beings, we had our mental faculties, okay, was connected to source. Do you see what I'm saying? So we were guided by source. And when I mean by source, it means our ancestors. Our ancestors were guiding us.
We are aware of that.
Right.
I'm just thinking about the question that was specifically asked.
Yeah. So when you're saying,
yeah, where I come from, my background.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it's not just that level. And we don't leave you at that level. Because if I leave you at that level, then you're going to think that's what it was. But there's much other things taking place. Do you see what I'm saying? So I can give you the answer, yeah, but that's not what happened to us in the sense that we were seeded there to learn our mistakes. That's not what happened. The real reason is because it was for blood. Yeah, it boils down to genetics, because these beings were hemophiliacs. Yeah, but you're talking about a time period. I'm trying to take you before that time period. Because when you talk about the Adamites, okay,
I suppose
people,
my question is then,
yeah,
who are your audience?
who are our audience from all different backgrounds, from all different walks of life. Everyone's got a different. That's why when we teach in Wu-Sabat, we have to connect the pieces. For instance, you may say Adamites, and people who believe the Adamites were the original people on the planet. Some people might believe the Adamites are the Africans, that were original Africans, but they're not. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, you're looking at people from different understanding or misunderstanding given to them by way of religion. Because we don't teach religion, we teach facts about the religions. We have to show you that Adam was not a black man in the sense of an African origin. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Yeah. 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 That's right, man. Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, I've come to learn from you guys.
Yeah.
But
Do you want to take the mic? Because it's being recorded. We won't be able to hear you if you don't.
Yeah. No, that's all right. It's cool, man. Yeah, just take the mic and
I thought you would have just give people sound bites, bite-sized pieces.
yeah.
For them to go on and do their own research, because ultimately,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you say or what I say.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is what the person goes and researches and learns for
You're
themselves.
100% right. You're 100% right. But there's levels.
So my approach.
Yeah. We do sound bites. We do sound bites. We do sound bites on OSM. You see what I'm saying? Where we have our
So
Tuesdays and stuff.
so that's fair.
Yeah.
Sorry, my love.
Yeah.
So that might be me out of place.
Yeah. It's
You've
fine,
probably
absolutely
got
fine.
different days.
Exactly. Yeah.
For different
Exactly. Yeah.
formats.
Exactly.
And I've come for this type of.
Yeah.
So bear with me. I'm just
Yeah.
come to see what's going
Absolutely
on.
fine, my
So
brother.
sorry to
Absolutely fine.
interrupt you
So
guys.
I can give sound bites, but what happens is with sound bites, okay, especially if the person is not studious, okay,
More than soundbite.
you have to give them a little bit more so they can reason it. Because initially, your reasoning is your highest state of consciousness. If you can't reason, then you're gonna be in a belief state. And I could just say, well,
There's one aspect of all of this that you have to take into consideration.
yeah,
Most people now, from teenagers to even now, I don't class myself into all of this, they got a 10-minute as such, if that, attention span. So where I'm coming from, like C-suite, blah, blah, and all of that, it has to go like that.
I hear you.
And then they have to just go and do for themselves,
Yeah.
because there's AI and there's this
And that's why we
there's
have
that,
that's
and
that's
there's
why we have
this
these
and there's
classes.
that.
That's why we have these classes. These classes it's every Saturday. So you can come with your questions, you can take your information and notes.
Is there interactivity online?
In the sense of what? Questions, you mean?
You can post stuff, people can research
Yeah,
through
we
links
do all
and
that.
all of that.
Yeah, we got Wu-Sabat. If you're not familiar,
I'm first time.
that's absolutely fine. There's a platform. Yeah, there's a platform called OSM Wu-Sabat, and on that platform we post all what you're talking about, all the images and the quotes and the this and the that. And then, as you said, if you're a diligent inquirer, if you're studious,
It has to be 5-10 minute attention span. It has to be in a way where it grabs the attention. Let me take the initiative, not listening to whoever.
yeah.
Newspaper, TV.
The thing is, my brother, what? Yeah. The thing is, you see, you're at a level, and you may have been like that. No.
What you have to
Hold
understand
on.
is what I'm saying is
Yeah.
my approach is how I'm going to deliver all of
Yes,
this.
yeah.
Is at that level,
Yeah, but hear me out. Hear me out. What I'm saying.
because I understand this.
Yeah. Hear me out. You have Yeah, we got questions in the chat, and then we'll come back to, because we're gonna have to go back and forth
Sorry.
otherwise, and we're leaving people not answering their question. No, it's absolutely fine. I hear you, and we have several approaches. Yeah, the formats you're talking about do exist, so we do have that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just have to do more research. Yeah. So what was I talking about now? So as a human ignorance affecting the soul, that is portion of it, because the human ignorance came by way of the fact that we went into the amnesia and we became ignorant. So this is part of it, but it took 6,000 years when we were put under a spell, and that spell was racial blindness and mental ignorance. Okay, so we were put under a spell. So it's a combination of spiritual reason and also physical reasoning, where we were taken. Part of that was also that there was the slave kidnapping, or the so-called kidnapping that took place, where they actually mixed in with us. They tied themselves into the vine. There's a lot of levels, okay, to this. They wanted our blood. You see what I'm saying? Because they were hemophiliacs. When they went over there to America and other places, they were looking to strengthen their blood. This was all done by their overlords, who were known as the Pleiadians. They actually guided them and gave them certain information and guidance to do these things. Okay, so it's a more level. But as the brother was saying, stay tuned in, write down your answers, do your research, and that's how you're gonna get to the bottom of facts. Okay. There's another question from Tumi. I am Tumi from South Africa. I would like to know, is it a must to close eyes when you pray? The answer is basically, that one's simple, is no. It's not a must to close your eyes. Okay, it's been answered. Prayer is what it is, and why do you need it? Who are you communicating with, and why? Okay. Is it okay to wear a tinfoil hat? Okay, I'm not going to answer that. It's nice, nice question, but yeah, yeah. You have to probably expand a bit more on that then. Yeah. Regarding next question, regarding the great grandmother, do we have any experienced Nubian that achieved the contact the unknown great grandmother? If yes, can he or she share the experience? Well, you said you had someone, isn't it? Your grandmother? And Zamal? You had your grandmother or great grandmother? Yeah. I mean, that's an experience that they'd have to share, whether you want to share it.
I think
A
my
minute.
grandmother came back
Yeah.
because when I
Do you want to share something?
when she visited me many times.
Yeah, that's
from
it.
my mom's side.
Yeah, that's what we want to know. It's not, because I want to keep it short.
Yeah,
Because
she visited me many times.
Right.
The last time I saw her, she was very, very happy. And what happened? Something come in my mind. I said she's returned back to one of her grandchildren, because I got loads of
To her.
relatives.
Yeah.
So she's back in one of them.
Okay, give it to Zamalta if you want to share your experience.
So I'll keep it as brief
Brief,
as
yeah.
possible, but most of the time when they come to me, it's usually at times when I'm like in extreme distress and like calling out for help. So like a good example that I can give you is I was going through some homelessness at some time, and I was trying to figure out where to stay, but in terms of still working, and I was told to go back to the old studio that I was at before, which is crazy because it was being demolished and being crushed down and so on and so forth. They told me go there anyway. In terms of like experience of knowing that that was not me or that was somebody else, was the fact that my head was going, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then it's almost like, you know, when you're freaking out and then you get a friend that goes, don't worry, this is what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden everything feels like okay because there's a solution out of it. That's how it kind of felt. So I knew that it was outside of myself. Basically, long story short, I went there. I was able to get into the building crazy enough. The cold works, the door was open, a pillow was there, a blanket was there. And so I was able to settle there for a little while I could get myself back on my feet.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, like they 100% talk to you, but you just have to go by feeling, if that makes sense.
Sure. For sharing that here, Shahrukh. Thank you for sharing that, Zamalta. Right, we're gonna jump to. I think there's some hands raised as well, if I'm correct. Theo and then Kobe. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience for waiting. Theo, you still got a question?
Yeah. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on Israel's significance in power on the planet, and then being like one of the main like string pullers, and their relationship with extraterrestrials.
Okay. Right. The Israelites that, or the people that call themselves the children of Israel, are Jews of two stock. They're known as Hasidic Jews and the Sephardims and the Ashkenazims. Okay, these are two stocks of Europeans, and what they did was they adopted and then supplanted themselves as the original children known as the Israelites. Okay, the Israelites were originally the descendants of Abraham, who, when you go the lineage all the way back, was made, descended from Adam. But Adam, as we've been explaining, as the multitude has been explaining, that was a created species of beings, okay, of humanoids on the planet. So that's your Adamite connection. Their influence on the world is because they became very wealthy bankers and money lenders. Okay, they made themselves known to the Rothschilds, to the families known as the Bilderbergers, as you can see there. Berger is dealing with Jews. Yeah. So these Polish Jews and these Ashkenazims and these Sephardims, what they did was they were to create a network by way of certain Masonic orders, etc., and infiltrate and manipulate governments. And that's how they've been able to maintain control. So if you go and look onto who own things like NBC, most of the American media corporations, you find that there's Jews behind it. Even in the movie industry, you find that there are Jews behind it, okay, who have funded and supported certain things. So from that, they've been able to cast their web of power on the planet. And then they were also able to initiate the finding of their homeland, which became the state of Israel, okay, by way of setting up what's called at that time it's called the United League of Nations. And then from the United League of Nations, that became what you now know as the United Nations. Okay, so born from that, they create through them and the Rothschilds and these Luciferian, what is referred to as the Luciferian orders. These Luciferian orders then created your world wars, and they funded these world wars so that they could have control over the planet. So that's what's taken place. Okay, and that is essentially really it without me going into, but you can find books on information on this from Leviathan 666, the year 2000, and the Millennium books. Goes into all of the information regarding how the state of Israel was set up, how they made it able to control, what they used, how they funded. They even funded some of your slave trade, or what's called a slave trade, which is really slave kidnapping. So this is all was done. Was there any other further question on that?
Do they get any help from extraterrestrials?
That's it, right. So the extraterrestrial connection is when you go into your so-called biblical story, because your biblical story really is talking about these Jews at that time were known as the 11 tribes of Canaan. Okay, they're the ones that supplanted themselves in the place of Jacob, who Jacob had a wrestle. You know, when I talk about a wrestle, he wrestled with an angel and his name was changed from Jacob to Israel. Okay, so what happened essentially is that there was a species of extraterrestrials known as the Anunnaki and also known as the Pleiadians. And the Pleiadians made a promise with them, or what is known in the biblical concept of a covenant. Yeah, so this is what you read when you're talking about a covenant. It was actually an agreement made between the Pleiadians and the Anunnaki that if you were able to source us with a food, then we will leave and we will protect you and leave you alone. We will guide you and help you in whatever shape or form you require. So as time went on, the 11 tribes of Canaan supplanted the original Israelites. And then they have now been making deals with the Pleiadians. And the Pleiadians became their overlords. So when you look at, like, for instance, the Masonic symbol of George Washington, there's a picture of him standing, and in the background, you can see a craft and a ladder that's coming down from the craft. Okay? Also, when you go and do the Church of Latter-day Saints, there was a person who started that movement called Joseph Fielding Smith. Joseph Fielding Smith was contacted by Pleiadians, and he was given a certain amount of prophecies, and he was trying to guide them back to the Pleiadian way. But obviously he was assassinated and, removed. So again, do your research on the tablets of Moroni. Sorry, he was visited by a being called Moroni, and he was given certain tablets called the tablets of Nephi. Okay, so when you break down the word Nephi or Nephilim, you're talking about those beings that fell down to this realm, and those were your Anunnaki, or a certain group of Anunnaki, which ties into the 200 fallen angels. Okay, so that's what they have been in contact with until the year 1999 stroke 2000. Okay, there's a picture, it's being put up now by Brother Saken to show you the Pleiadian connection. Okay, there's also some stars as well. If you look, you see like a 6-pointed star in the backdrop of George Washington. That's also dealing with the Pleiadian star system. So they knew about their Pleiadian connection because they were visited and instructed by the Pleiadians. They even instructed them to build Washington monuments, etc. These were all done by the Pleiadians. Okay. But yeah, so that's the link between the Jews now, or the Israelites, the modern day Israelites, who are the Jews of the tribes of Canaan. Okay, so remember what I was saying is that the original Israelites, they were supplanted by the 11 tribes. Okay, and the main tribe is called Jebus, the Jebusites. Those were your original Jews. So from that kind of interaction with them, they've given them certain protection, and you can go into more of the protection as you study something called the mezuzah. The mezuzah is a little inscription that they will write a protection on and put it in a little box and put it outside their house. This was to help protect them because there were certain beings that would coming and abducting their children. It goes into it. There's a massive build, but there's books called Kabir Kadam, okay, that goes into more detail about the origin of the Caucasian race and their link with the Israelites and how they became Israelites, and also with the Adamites and how they lost their soul, etc. So there's a big build. So I mean, we can go do a topic class on it if you need be. Okay.
One last quick thing as well, I don't want to take up too much time, but
Yeah.
is there any truth to Israel being created in 1948?
That's what I'm saying. That's the state of Israel.
The state.
Yeah, the state of Israel. They were able to get certain governments to support them and vote for that state within Palestine. Because remember, the state of Israel is within Palestine. So they created a state within a country. And then as time went on, they then started to encroach bit by bit on the country. This is why there's been a fight between the Palestinians and what they call themselves the Israelis. Do you see what I'm saying? But like I said, the Israelis were actually the original, the Jews that had converted. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, all right. Antaka Thera 4. Kobe, you have a question? That's okay.
Just going back to the procession change.
Mm-hmm.
So, verse 78, it says, it's the point, it's the point when the direction of the axis of the planet Earth begins to move toward the center of the galaxy,
Okay.
begins to point away from the center.
Mm-hmm.
So this verse here, when he's saying that the planet Earth begins to move to point toward the center of the galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
is that meaning towards the sun, or does that mean
No. The actual galaxy, the Milky Way, is the axis of the procession starts to actually move because it's in a gyratory form and it actually bends towards the center of the galaxy as the planet starts to propel itself and move closer and closer to the center of the galaxy?
okay? So can you just build on that a little bit more? Explain what, where's that center point of the galaxy? What does that mean?
Okay. The center of the galaxy is when a sun grows, okay, it's at a singularity, it's at a certain point. And what the sun, the original birth of the sun, okay, was not the sun that we know, because this is one of many suns in this galaxy. So the original sun was known as Sal. No, sorry, it was known as Om. I beg your pardon. The original sun was known as Om. And that Om, it exploded. And eventually, from that, it gave birth to Sal, another sun. And these suns gave birth to other suns. So the center of the galaxy would be the original creation of Om, the first sun. And that's why these planets are now, or this planet Earth is now going back towards, when the precession is bending towards the center of the galaxy. It's talking about an actual original sun that was in this universe, or sorry, in this galaxy known as Om.
Well, so is that what the Big Bang, when they say the Big Bang theory, is that?
Yeah, that was one of the many big bangs. But yeah, for our galaxy, that was a big bang for us. And then from that came multiple bangs, because from those multiple big bangs, that produced our sun. You see what I'm saying? With the making of the, so when you read Existence, How and Why, it starts off explaining that the hydrogen and the helium fused, okay, and the additional amount of hydrogen and helium created your sun. And then the extra portion of the 4,000 tons became your planet Earth when it shot off. So that's what and the sun was doing. The sun was fusing and combining hydrogen and helium at a very, high potency, and then it shot off. And then the pieces that shot off became your planets. Does that make sense? No, that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. is any more we can go on?
Again, it's one of these. I've had these conversations.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll ponder on it if I have another question with time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Um,
It's okay, Zama. As like I said, always just when you're dealing with this universe, understand that it came from a multiverse. Yeah?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that multiverse was born by way of Pa'ot. Yeah, which is all expanding. But the energies and the formulas and the condition had to be right for a universe to be born. Just like okay, look at it like a child, a baby. Before a baby is conceived in the womb of a mother, the mother and the father, their body and their mind has to be in the right state of condition. Yeah, so the master teacher always gives that analogy between when referring to creation. So when that perfected state is ready for a birth, that's like the sun. When the universe was right and the formula was right and the condition was right, then the birthing place took place. But these elements had to fuse together in order to create that. So that the very beginning of this was a center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, which you should understand, which came from other multiple galaxies that were originally here in existence.
When it comes to Sirius star system,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so is that part of this galaxy, or is that?
Right, right. I'm with you.
Mm,
The Sirius star system is part of this galaxy. Yeah. So these are multiple star systems in this galaxy. That's why beings can travel from here to Earth. And that's why Ilion, which sits in the 19th galaxy where they came from originally as Etherians, they moved from that galaxy to this galaxy.
this and they and that galaxy came from the
Exactly, exactly. Because
okay.
Om was a very massive sun, which had other planets, but it died, and you know about a neutron star when a star gives a rebirth again. So this has been happening for countless millennia times. It's not the first time. This planet Earth and the sun, this will also at one point it will also consume itself and then explode. Do you see what I'm saying? And then existence will start again with new life forms, etc. And those beings will. That's why this goes back to your Series C. Those beings who have raised themselves, they'll be removed. Do you see what I'm saying? To a safer star system. Because what's going to happen is the Series C it collapsed, and this is what potentially can happen to this planet, or sorry, to this sun. Our sun can collapse, and then the Etherians, the elders, will have to restart again. So, in order for them to prepare those beings before they collapse this star system, they have to send a being, a warner, to help raise them so that they can be able to travel through certain dimensions in case of any eventualities.
And I take it with partner back.
Mm-hmm.
This information is sort of feeding us.
Mm-hmm. remember, yeah, exactly, because remember, every 24,000 years is the renewal of our way of life, wu-nuwaupu. So the cycle that we're in, as we grow, that's why our children are the future. Because whatever we learn now, remember, we talk about the morphic field and memory and DNA and stuff like that. When we perfect our being, if the situation is conducive and this planet is not due to be pulled into the sun, or there's not going to be no collapse of this planet, etc., and we've raised ourselves to a level, we will be born through our children. You see what I'm saying? But our children, if we raise them right, they would have learned more than what we've known.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they will no longer be speaking the English language, for instance. They'll be speaking wu-nuwaupu. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's like what, in 4 generations that could happen easily. But we have to stick with it. We're like the pioneers. We have to fight the fight. We have to do the rough and rugged, on that path of the road. We have to build the future for them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we gotta go through the struggle. This is the first part of the first millennium, the 1,000 years. In the 1,000 years, we're gonna see a lot of changes in that 1,000 years. But we have to prepare our children so when the next generation is born, they're more attentive, they're more alert, they're more intelligent, they're more able to communicate their answers. The next generation is born. When you study epigenetics, you find out that that's how it works. Everything that you upload into the morphic field, the next generation, they retain it, and then it becomes natural to them. So levitation and things like that, it's not going to be something like, oh, I can do that. Do you know what I mean? They'll be able to do it. We're learning the practice of it, but then the next generation, they may be able to move an object with their hand, or they can able to communicate mind to mind. The next generation, they can be able to transform into a bird or an animal that they see, because these are the abilities that we have. Does that make sense? Okay. Antaka Theater 4, Zama. All right. We've got 10 minutes, family. So if you got any burning questions, any questions that you don't feel has been answered, yes, my brother. How does copper, the metal or the element?
Both.
The metal is a conductor. So as any conductor, you've got a weak electrical field around your body. Yeah. So what that copper will do, it will what's the word I'm looking for? It will conduct the electricity in your body and make it more static, which means that you can draw more energy into your body. Okay? Copper and zinc are things that your brain needs. Okay? And your brain needs those for balance and also different synthetic processes that takes place. But I have to research more. I know there's much more than that, but it's a balance of the two, copper and zinc, okay, which deals with the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Okay, so those are the reasons why you need copper and zinc. Oh, sorry, you need copper, but also zinc as well. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Carbon and copper.
Copper and zinc. Or you asking about carbon now?
No, I'm trying to work something out.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Sapien,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It needs copper. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, my brother.
Yes, bro. Yes. So, in the Partarak, I was there, which is here.
Mm-hmm.
The master teacher talks about the beings who were created, because we've been talking about the beings who have been created as food. Crocodiles are created as food. So the master teacher talks about this war that was in the heaven.
That's right. Yeah.
And these beings that we created as food, who were diseased and they were.
Oh no, that's still the same. The same Mukasu.
Right. So
Yeah.
where does that fit into?
Because it was a grand plan.
Right,
It was a grand plan by the Panatharu.
Yeah,
The
right.
Panatharu knew, okay, that the cycle that we're coming into Remember, they see all of this. You see what I'm saying? So they knew that there's going to come a time where there's going to be a manifestation of a disagreeable nature. So they put it into the minds of these Pleiadians, etc., as a great grand plan to create a food source. And then within that food source, they will become like a disease for the draconians, to kill off the draconians, because the draconians were eating the Pataites and they were causing negativity and destruction on the planet. So this was a grand plan that was orchestrated by Panatharu, but it didn't go to plan. You know what I'm saying? It didn't go to plan because they still, as you can see, the Mukasu is still here and doing his devilishment. So that's why a being has to be sent. But that being, I was here. The reason why I say I was here, which is there, because Atum Ray was part of that. As the 19th elder, was responsible for the creation of the being, the Mukasu. That's why he's known as their god. When you go into the orders, they say that he was Hermes, the thrice Masgestus, or known as Tahuti. You see what I'm saying? Because they know who Tahuti is. Yeah, he was the master of, if the symbol of Tahuti as the master of the ape man will be the baboon. So when you look at the baboon, that's like the depiction of Tahuti in ancient Egypt was either the ibis bird or the baboon, because the baboon was the master of the ape man. So they used a symbol that represents that creature that was created. You see what I'm saying? But he was that master who oversaw the thing. Yeah.
So let me just get this straight in my head. So this was a plan that didn't go according to plan.
No, not fully. But it's still a great plan. It's still a grand. Sorry, it's still a grand plan. Still in operation. It's still in operation. You know what I mean? Because how he put it is, we would eliminate them in our own good time. It's not our time, even though we're going for catching the hell. Because how Parnatharu work is that Parnatharu work on cycles. That's, you have to really bear that in mind. So even though 6,000 years for us was been the most horrendous that we've been through, they don't interfere in cycles. They have to wait till the cycle plays out. And then a being is sent to then wait, because bring us up back up. It all has to be in accordance with natural nature. They don't do it in imbalancement with, because if they do an imbalancement, they know that it can have a knock-on effect with other things in the universe. You know what I'm saying? So everything's done in cycles, and there's a grand plan to everything. That's why the title, Intelligent Design, Divine Design, or Plot of Aliens. Because these aliens, some of them, they don't care. They'll just they'll do their thing, they'll do their devilishment, create a hybrid creature, let it run rampant, destroy nature. But our Nataru are the watchers. They watch on. Like, okay, it's time now. Okay, let's send some being now to clean up the mess. Yeah. So we have to go through this, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah. All right. Until 4. 5 minutes left, family. Oh, Theo and Kobe. Theo, you have a question, and then we're going to go to Kobe. Or is it?
Quickly ask about how, you know, so we've got extraterrestrials that are going to be coming down and or eating us to an extent. When you say that, are we to visualize it? Have you watched War of the Worlds?
Yes.
Is that what we're looking at as what's coming?
Most extraterrestrials come in a cloud formation. They come behind clouds. This is, if you read the Bible, a lot of the biblical stories, it always says God traveled in a cloud or in some kind of camouflage. So in Nome, Alaska, the Anunnaki did come, and they came in a cloud and in darkness, and they took 300,000 in Nome, Alaska. That's what the movie Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind was about. And in there, the master teacher explained the woman that was talking about her daughter, and in the language, you could hear the recording, they were speaking, and they spoke very sharp and very, like, forceful language. The master teacher explained that they said, we have your daughter and we've eaten her. So in essence, what's taking place is that these beings do come, but they come in a way that it is undetected, or they will abduct, and they will then place, so some, like you got the Greys, for instance, some of the Rumadian Greys, they use vats. The Maccabean Greys, I beg your pardon. They use vats, and they actually draw the essence from those vats, and they feed it, and what they do, they actually lie in the vats, and they seep the fluid from humans into their bodies by way of their skin. Some extraterrestrials, they start wars. So the wars that you're taking place, or the bacteria or the virus known as COVID, that was another way of killing X amount of people on the planet. And what they do is they collect the bodies. So that's how extraterrestrials get their quota of humans, because there's been an agreement made between the governments that we will give you 300,000 per day.
300,000 human beings a day.
Is that as of right now?
As of 2000 and I can't remember the exact date. It's in dimensional shift. Hold on.
Will there be any humans left?
Yeah, there's 7 billion on the planet, remember, and there's children being born every day. So you just do the maths. That's like it's not a lot, you know.
It's like
Wars. Where are we? Where are we? Sir, I'm trying to find it. I know time is of the essence. Trying to find the page. It talks about Nome, Alaska. There you go. Right. Yeah, the year 2000. It's the year 2000. In 1999, the overlords, Kamau Pleiadians, came to Earth. This is from the dimensional shift. Okay? Patarak. They came to Earth to ask the Kakasu, why have they not used the 6,000 years to rule with peace? Why have you abused the children of Pa Montaru? So they would not receive an extension of time of the year 2000 AD, the end of 6,000 years from 4000 BC. Their overlords placed 3 trigger words in their books or religion that would trigger their self-destruction slowly from 9/11 2012 AD. Yeah, so you know about 9/11, right? You find 2 in the book of Revelation 9:11. Now compare chapter 9 verse 11 to the date 9/11 2001 and the elected President Bush, which in Hebrew has Strong's 954, meaning disappointed, delayed, shameful. The little dragon of the Skull and Bone Order, Hell's Fire Club, Genesis 3:22, as you see on their doorpost on Yale University. Their temple 3:22 related to Genesis 3:22 to 24, cherubim. Trying to find. There you go. I'll read all of it then because this ties in. So cherubim, the cherub of Ezekiel 28:14, the devil from his father, the big dragonian, George Herbert Walker Bush, 41st president, 1989 to 1993 AD. Little dragonian, George Walker Bush, 43rd president, 2001 to 2009, the last Euro-American president. So, in 2001 AD, Bush went to New York, the New Babylon, and triggered the words Abaddon and Apollyon, and Osama triggered Abu-Din. All are linked to the end of 6,000-year rule of Adamite seed, Revelations 9:11 on to Revelations 18, verse 211. So they will not be part of the next dimensional shift, 2012. They are trapped at 6 ether, Revelations 18, verse 2, in caged spirits, 2013. So in 2000 AD, the Anunnaki, as cherubim, Elohim, Anakim, Alihat, returned with the anointed cherub, Nana, Sin, their Christ, for their rapture, and took 144,000 Kakasu Caucasoid and offered them to the Lawi Tananu reptilians of Draco for offering, and said between the year 2000 to 2012, they would take 300,000 people each day. People of all races, except Nagaru, Negroes. As for you, Pa Nagaru Salau, the Negroid race, yeah, and then it goes on to about, you know, the different races and stuff. Okay, but that's still ongoing from 2012. Time is up, okay, but it's still ongoing. They're still abducting. They're still creating their disease. That's why the last one that we went through was called what was it called? COVID. There you go. Yeah, COVID. When you break it down, is kobad, which means craft. Yeah, when it's a whole breakdown. Yeah, it's another class. But class has expired now. We've run out. Kobe, I'm afraid it's up to. Yeah, okay. One more question, and then we'll end the class. Go on, Kobe.
Did that being have any children?
Tua. Every time a being incarnates, they have children.
So when I'm saying with he's his being that can channel three different beings. Thinking about yeah, that means he exists on this planet as his physical, original physical self in ancient times, or was that just another person, if that makes sense?
Right. The original being before the orders were set up and they became the different Tahutis on this planet. You mean the original being Tahuti was from Sa'at, Sirius star system.
So did that being have any children on this planet?
As far as I'm aware, I'm not too sure unless there's a breakdown somewhere, but I'm not too sure whether that particular one had children. Yeah. Antakatira 4. Wawe Zamalu Moisar Zamal Tatu Tawakum Laheya Toy Pa was it now Kayat? Okay, for our class this evening, Panin Masut. We have various classes around, as we've mentioned. We have OSM Wu-Sabat. We have online classes where we do readings and studies on Thursdays. We have Tuesday for OSM Wu-Sabat. We have classes on Saturday. Okay, we have also online classes going around in other places on Clubhouse. So if you're a diligent student, wanted to know more, wanted to study, tune in to those classes, tune into ours on those days that I've just mentioned. Again, keep visualizing our master teacher walking amongst us and being free. Okay? It doesn't stop until he's with us. So those who know that he's done something in your life and more to that, you want to be raised up amongst him, etc. Know what he's teaching and much more, because there's different levels to this. Okay? Visualize his freedom. Come together in unity and love. because that's what's going to free him. He's always said that, and he continues to keep saying it. All right. That's it, Moisa. We'll be announcing. Sorry, what's that? Oh, with the link will be posted on Wu-Sabat OSM. It'll also be posted on other online forums. So just look out for it. Are you on the Wu-Sabat OSM?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it will be posted on there, and you can join the classes. We do readings and study. It's a study class. So if you want more in-depth information, and also it's really an opportunity for those who haven't got many of the scrolls available to them. We make it available in the reading so that we can share it and, let the words be known of Partner Babyanun. Okay? And with that, Taukum Moisar will wadu.